with that. So Remedy will be the first map, and we have 4 players who have fought against all the other remaining players and will battle it out for a prize pool of 320 euro. We have Dionysos, Hugo, Revolution, and Turris who are fighting it out for that amount of money. Remedy is the first map, and I really want to stress out that Hugo was very good on the spec brewing.
Indeed, Hugo has also gotten the fastest local record here with a 54.14, so on paper we could potentially see a very good beginning for Hugo. 220, the player hailing from France. He is also doing pretty good in the warm-up right now, so this track being the tech map here in the map pool of the ElityCup 4. In the grand final, Hugo versus Taurus versus Revolution versus Dionysos. These 4 players have come a long way, and also tonight they have proven themselves against other players of a very similar skill level and defeated them and eliminated them out of the tournament as well. So our first map, as you can see, is built by Kaisla, and he is obviously known for building very difficult maps. He in fact also contributed maps to the Trackmania World Championship back in the days in 2018. I think there was one map by him. So he knows how to make things spicy for the players. The point limit for tonight is at 120, which means that the players will need to reach 120 points by placing well in each round. Each player will start at the same time, as you can see, and depending on the placement in the finish line, you will be granted points. The point repartition is 10, 6, 4, and 3. And in the first round, we see a couple of small hits already. Hugo with a terrible start, already 1.2 seconds behind. Revolution, the German player, is leading the field in front of Taurus and Dionysos. We're dropping into the third part, where you want to find yourself as far up high in the banking as possible to maintain as much speed as you can, which all the players have done successfully. And this round is looking very, very good for Revolution. He is absolutely dominating the field, and he's also a very good player. Dionysos with the hit, and he's gonna get snagged by Hugo, as Dionysos is not making the jump up to the dirt section. The final corner looking good for Revolution, taking it nice and easy, and jumps into the finish with a 54.35. And that is already putting the bar quite up high for the upcoming 2 rounds on this map.
Yeah, he's setting a statement here towards Hugo, who has fortunately gotten himself a 3rd position, but both occupying local 1 and 2 here. So Hugo, after that first mistake, not with a 10-pointer, and a good performance here by Revolution indeed. Only 0.09 away here from his personal best, which was set in rounds or in the cup here on the server. So again, a very good start for him. Dionysos, Turris, and Hugo all in the mix, so no mistakes has happened to a player this time around. So very close. Dionysos super close there to the wall, almost was coming into touch with it, but that wasn't the case. Hugo has fallen a bit behind, so let's see if he can make it happen here. Look at the speed from Hugo here. Comes considerably closer here towards Dionysos Turris. Oh my god, what a line by Hugo. He's risking it here so much for that 6-pointer, but maybe he wants more than that. Revolution still in the lead, 0.15 of a second. Make it 0.1 now. Players are pushing it like crazy here in this second round of the grand final. It is none other than Dionysos falling down, and Revolution Turris. Hugo with a good ending section. Revolution jumping super close with 30.37 again. Great time. Turris with his PB, and only in 3rd position, as Hugo pulled out a very, very good ending there and goes up into P2 here.
What a great battle for first place. That became pretty tense going to the last couple corners there. So really nicely done by all the players. And round 3 is underway. Let's take a look at Hugo, who is right now sitting at 10 points together with Taurus, Dionysos with 6, and Revolution having won 2 rounds in a row. The perfect match for the German player so far. And in round 3, he is also in the lead, but has to lift off there, as well as Dionysos, who is clipping one of the edges there and will fall down all the way back to last place. So this fight is going to be decided between Taurus and Hugo. 220. Hugo going extremely wide once again to maintain as much speed as possible. And this line was a lot better by him as well. Taking a look at Taurus going through the dirt part, we see Hugo hitting the bump on the outside just a tiny little bit without any speed loss. The final corner is going to decide it. Hugo with a bit less speed, and Taurus will snipe him in the end, actually. Great effort by Taurus, who drifted a tiny tad less in the final corner. Therefore, built up a bit more speed and jumped lower into the finish as well. So Taurus is going to win this and shoots himself up to second place after map 1.
So it is Hugo not winning a single round here on his best map, a map that he has picked in the semifinal. So not a good start for him, but he didn't really have a good start in the semifinal either. So Lee can really play well from behind. Taurus in second position, then Revolution in first, and Dionysos with 3 last places sitting down there with 9 points. So not a good start for him, but on this map he looked very, very strong, as well as Taurus. So interested to see how Hugo and also Revolution will perform against them, because we haven't seen this map in the first semifinal where Hugo and Revolution have advanced from. And yeah, interested to see that. You can see this reset block here with the reactor boost combination, a very, very tricky part where you can easily fail also before that. And Dionysos does that one pretty good. Look at that, he is currently in the lead, and hopefully he can transfer that to the live round as well.
Yeah, Dionysos right now the player who has collected the least amount of points, only 9 points for the French player. And he obviously wants to get back on the map here to fight for 150 euro, which is the prize money that first place is gonna bring home tonight in the ElityCup 4. So let's see what he's gonna burn into the asphalt here on our second map, built by Nick Zotica, one of the best players from the United States of America. And it's called Taladega. You've seen the loop part where you stick to the ceiling using the reactor boost, which is pushing you into the ceiling. Then you hit the reset to get rid of that reactor boost to fall back into the quarter pipe. And the section will be found right Dionysos here in the first section. And it looks like Dionysos has not made the start, so another weak beginning into the match here, into this map for him. Here's the reset. Revolution getting it really early, and obviously you need to time it right. You need to hit the brakes at the exact time so you don't travel unnecessary distance on the reset block. So Revolution did that incredibly well, and he's leading by 7/10 of a second. So Revolution, former Trackmania Grand League participant, really wants to take this one home here by the looks of it. So Revolution in the lead, and the second place is being fought out between Hugo and Taurus. Hugo with a superior line here through the section. A lot more speed here by Hugo, and he also carries that into the finish ring. Revolution, the only player under 56 seconds, finishing with a 5.554. So very good effort right there by Revolution, who is going to take 10 more points and goes up to 34 points already.
Yeah, good performance there by Revolution indeed. And what happened to Dionysos in the beginning is he jumped too low and has gotten himself a penalty. And also from this sort of identity part with the reset block, it's very important, it's very vital that you accelerate just before you actually hit that reset block, that you can accelerate in the air. Maybe you know that feeling when you have released before you jumped, and then you cannot release in the air, you will lose your gear and stuff like that. But it is Dionysos making a mistake by jumping too far to the right, and he is out on this round. Hugo and Revolution are in P1 and 2. Different lines there. Revolution with no speed to work with here, and also Taurus will come closer with that. So Hugo still remains in that lead, but Revolution is attacking. He is hungry. The German player is hungry. Taurus with a mistake, and he's out at that. He will still secure third position. And also the gap here between Hugo and Revolution has increased. So it's a free 10-pointer here, and the first 10-pointer for Hugo here in this grand final. He will indeed do so with a 55.79, so also a good time. Revolution in second, Taurus in third, and then we have also Dionysos, but with a 5th consecutive 3-pointer in a row. So this is not a good start here for Dionysos.
Indeed, he's just not really finding it into the flow of the match, and that's obviously very important. As a competitive player myself, I just know how important it is to get that flow going and to not get yourself distracted by all these mistakes. And I think Dionysos is just not really feeling it right now. He played well in the second semi-final, but between the semi-final and the grand final, there was a small break. So maybe the break did not do very good for him, as we see Revolution with an incredible drop down, and does exactly that what Turbo talked about earlier, by re-accelerating in the correct moment. Hugo did not survive that section very nicely. As you can see, the gaps are very, very big here towards first place. So Revolution definitely not gonna let this one slip through his hands, as he is probably aware of his situation, knows that he's leading by half a second, which is a lot in Trackmania. Dionysos with a bit of a drift up that hill, but manages to stay in front of Taurus, and Revolution once again under 56 seconds, and times like these seem to be very competitive and perhaps even enough to win rounds.
Yeah, so Revolution up to 50 points. Look at
Wow.
that. He is already 15 points ahead, but also Dionysos gets himself good on the scoreboard there with a 6-pointer. So his first non-4th position in round number 6 here of this grand final. And we're going to go to the next map just now, as we have 3 rounds on each track with 1 warm-up beforehand. And we have Untamed Heart, a very fast-paced map here by Firestorm, to kick off here for the 3rd map. It's very fast and also a very hard ending part where you have an ice section, but we're gonna come to that later. So a lot of jumps are on this track, and yeah, maybe you want to explain a little bit more in depth, Riolu.
Indeed, so the track by Firestorm, probably the fastest one out of the entire map pack, and unlike in the semi-finals, where we've only seen 4 out of the 6 maps from the ElityCup 4 map pool, in the grand final we are going to see all the 6 maps being played out with 3 rounds each. So this part, for example, you want to lower the airtime, jump as flat as you can down into the next dirt layer to maintain as much speed as possible. Also here, avoid drifting. Then we have the loop, which you want to take to keep that speed. An ice section where you need to kind of use the curve of the bobsleigh to put yourself into the correct spot. Very tight drift right here, which is tightening towards the end. Towards the exit, you want to get rid of your speed. In this left-hander, go as close as possible to the outside, because that is where you generate the most amount of speed. And yeah, as you said, we have a very spicy ending where you need to go up the ice ramp into the finish ring, where the angle is very important, where you want to avoid making steering movements, because every steering movement is going to slow your car down. So very sure we're going to see some position changes here in the ending of Untamed Heart by Firestorm, where Hugo actually holds the fastest local record out of the 4 participants in the grand final. So the current scoreboard looking as follows: Revolution with 50 points, 15 points ahead of Hugo, who is sitting on 2nd place, 3 points ahead of Taurus, and Dionysos with a weak beginning into the match right now, sitting on last place with 21 points. And the first round is being led by, yeah, pretty much everyone and no one at the same time. Very, very different lines being picked by the players down into the dirt section. No big mistakes being done here. This is a super close battle. Currently taking a look at Taurus, who is going for a little bit of a different approach in the looping section, but at the end of the day, everyone almost with the same speed outcome here. Revolution leading by just a hair. This is all going to come down to the last couple of corners here. This drift is going to be quite important. Revolution did it very well. Also Hugo shooting himself up to 2nd place. The dirt section is going to be important. We see Revolution not going for the wider line, and you can clearly see that this is not the line you want to pick, because he's going to be overtaken by both Hugo and Taurus, who are now going up the ice ramp. Revolution maybe with the tight line could make something happen. Oh! That is a death. Hugo 220 did not hit the ring and hit the reset button before the impact, and that is gonna be a 3rd place still for Hugo, as Dionysos seemingly had issues with the ending as well. Ay.
Yeah, so Hugo 220, more like I missed the finish by 2 meters 20, but he is not getting himself the 10-pointer here, unfortunately, and he still is up there in that battle for the 2nd position, because also the 2nd place goes home with 100 euro, 3rd place goes home with 50, and also is solace for that 4th position, 20 euro you get for that. So everyone here is a winner. Everyone is a winner already by just qualifying to that grand final. But what a close round yet again, as we have witnessed a close round at the beginning. We have a close round again, as Taurus is leading ahead of Hugo. Hugo with a way better ice entrance here, generates a lot of speed going through that part where you really don't have to drift or do anything. So he's extending his lead here, 2.07 of a second, but it's still Taurus lurking. Tourist lurking here in the shadow. Let's go ahead and follow him. Tourist with a beautiful dirt section. Look at that. Tourist is pressing B for boost, and this could be the 10-pointer here that he could get to his name if he survives this ending. Look at the ending from
Hugo,
Revolution.
not again!
Oh, Hugo again with a mistake there indeed. And Hugo will go from hero to 0 here and is not able to clear that finish for 3 times in a row. And now he does it. But Hugo only with 3 points. Tourist wins it here. Second victory in a row. Revolution with the second place in a row on this track. And both of them will extend their leads towards the 3rd position.
Everyone is a winner. That is such a great quote that we all need to note down here by Turbo. But he's right. Everyone's gonna go home with a bit of money here. And now we're going into the final round of Untamed Heart. Hugo definitely having some trouble with the ice for whatever reason, but having a part like this can really put a mental block in your driving.
Yeah.
When one part just constantly goes wrong, and even though you're driving everything else really nicely, that one part just ruins your whole race. So Hugo essentially having thrown more than 10 points in 2 rounds, which is not a good thing to have. But now he wants to come back from it and make up what he lost in the previous 2 rounds. Hugo leading by a huge margin. Revolution hitting on the left-hand side, and Hugo had a bit of trouble with the dirt left-hander here. This time around he did it very, very nicely. Torres going up to 2nd place, and Hugo should have this one in the pocket. All eyes on Hugo. 220. Is he gonna hit the ring? No, he hits it, but he doesn't finish. And Hugo once again not making it, and that is the next throw for Hugo. He could have gone up into the lead here possibly, and now he's last again. This must hurt so much, Turbo.
Ouch, man, this hurts so much. I mean, he was first 3 times on this track and was throwing it away, and his opponents are capitalizing from that tremendously.
Yes,
really, it is hard to like comprehend what is happening to his mind, but he's just very scared about this ending now, and he had too much respect from that and throwing it away. But fortunately, I think he has not to see this map again, because it will be played in 5 maps after that. So I think we won't see it, because we are already halfway through this match concerning Revolution and Tourist. We have both surpassed the 60 points barrier here. Hugo is still on 3rd position, and Dionysos comes a bit closer though, but is still 11 points away. Now we have 2 Artara, a map by Deska, and we had a sick performance by Revolution here, who is the keyboard player but still goes for no slides in some sections here. So it's really cool to see his different lines that he is opting for, and also that he's just putting in very, very good times. And also Dionysos, look at this line here.
Wait,
interesting
what?
to see. This is actually faster, isn't it?
I'm not sure, but I have not seen that line before. Wow.
That looked pretty good, actually.
I mean, it really didn't look that bad, so perhaps we're gonna see that change of line here. Maybe we're gonna see that one player go for that wide line, and all the other players go for the tight line. This was the warm-up on the map by Deska, who is a very, very good dirt player, playing with the absolutely crazy keyboard plus cam 3 combo. And yeah, we're gonna go live here with the first round. Revolution, as my friendly neighborhood co-caster Turbo already mentioned, is a very interesting one here for sure. So let's take a look here. Revolution, not with the greatest beginning though, so as I was about to praise him for a very good performance in semi-final 1, now he finds himself in the back of the field, goes for the no slide, but does not really make it happen. The no slide being a very difficult line, or a very difficult technique to pull off for keyboard players, as it usually requires gentle, light and smooth steering, which is mainly achieved by using an analog device. But yeah, going back into the round, we see Hugo, 220, finally trying to make something happen, but then again, he has lost it multiple times on the previous map. Is he gonna lose it now? Dionysos is going for a wider line, but it's not gonna be sufficient here. And Hugo finally, this must be a big burden off his shoulders to finally win a round again, to get the 10 points which he deserved before already. And with this, he is now 10 points short to 2nd place. Revolution still in the lead.
Yeah, so he could have been in first position by far, actually. I mean, you have to consider that the other people would have not gotten themselves the 10-pointer that Hugo was throwing away with that. But a relief for him in this round that he has gotten himself the 10-pointer eventually. So going into round 2 out of 3 here on Artara by Deska. It is Revolution leading here. And I actually want to focus here on Dionysos for his line that he is opting for now, currently occupying P number 2. So let's just see if this one is turning out to be faster or not. Because you generate a lot of speed here, but I think you've gone going over the penalty grass a little bit too much in this section. So that's why you lose all your speed again. So we can see Dionysos not really catching up to Revolution, who's on a monster time. He is 0.46 ahead. So what is Revolution doing? This could be a 54 low time by him. Only the ending is remaining, and Revolution does it perfectly fine. And this is a 54.04. Jesus Christ, Revolution. What are you doing with your opponents, man? Don't ravish them like that. What the hell?
Revolution almost driving a new world record on this track. 54.047 by Revolution. The world record that I've seen in the leaderboard was a 53.9 or something by Rotaker. So that was an incredible time by Revolution, and he is now at 80 points. Taurus at nice 69 points. Hugo 58 and Dionysos with 46. So Revolution right now definitely dominating the field, even though in this round he is slacking and he is not making the jump and barely manages to stay on his wheels there. So this is definitely the last place for the German player who can kind of afford doing this mistake, but on the other hand, his direct opponent Taurus is in the fight for first place. So this is maybe the worst possible scenario for the German player. Hugo is trying to deny that, but Taurus with more speed up the hill. Let's see what's going to happen here. Taurus will have a bit more speed to work with, and he is going to win this round as he gets the second local, 54.3. Now being driven by Taurus, and now he's going to come 7 points closer to Revolution. That is how quick it can turn, Mr. Turbo.
Yeah, this is how quick tables can turn indeed. And yeah, that was the perfect scenario for Taurus here, who's at 79 points now. So only 41 points, only quote unquote, of course, 41 points away of reaching the finalist mode. Still a long way to go, but it's looking good for both Taurus and Revolution here, as they are more than 15 points ahead of the third place here. Of course, the two are not advancing, but a 50-year difference between second and third comes in handy as well. Dionysos looks to struggle a little bit, not really keeping on with the pace of the players here. And let's see what Silent Night will bring us. A map where Taurus has qualified himself to the grand final here, where he was beating Carl with 100 of a second. So that was a really close fight. And yeah, interested to see how he will perform against Revolution. So it was also a map that we have only seen in semi-final 2 and not in semi-final 1.
Indeed, the map by Superall, this one definitely another interesting one. In terms of speed, similar to the map by Firestorm, as this one also has a few very fast bits. We currently see it here with Revolution, as he is leading the warm-up just in front of Hugo, and you can clearly see the average speed on this map is pretty high. And this right-hander, for example, pretty cool that it gradually goes down and it tightens, and Revolution just got local 1 like right as I was talking. So Revolution just once again showing what he got, and Revolution driving a 101.779, which is incredibly fast. Like, he really wants to win this thing.
Yeah, he really wants to win this thing, and this is 0.2 away of the actual WR, which is a 0.5. And I think Revolution has done this multiple times, driving local 1 just in the warm-up, and this how ready he is for this match as Taurus makes that first mistake. So let's see what Revolution is doing currently behind Dionysos here, who's occupying first position. Revolution also not with the best transition here, so he loses a little bit of time, but beautiful drift here. And now we're gonna go into the full speed section. Can Revolution catch up to Dionysos here, who gets a very, very direct approach here? So not a lot of speed here to work with because he just didn't land in the slope section. But also Hugo's in the mix. What a fight here. 0.08 between all the three players. Revolution not with a good line here in this section, but generates a lot of speed over this long uphill drift here. This will be all in the ending. Dionysos in first, Hugo in second. Revolution coming closer though. 0.2 between all of the three players. Hugo opting for an outside approach. Revolution with the attack. Not a lot of speed here. And it is Dionysos in first, Hugo in second. And a 1:01.96 by Dionysos is a very good time. And this is a 10-pointer that he is in dire need of.
Indeed. I think any time under 102 is going to be highly competitive here, so that was a very good race and good effort by Dionysos, who is going to get 10 points. Hugo on second with a +6, and the two players in the lead in the total scoreboard actually didn't score that well, so now we have a 27-point difference between first and last on the scoreboard. And keep in mind, we do play until 120, so nothing is lost for anyone, and everybody is still in the game here. So let's take a look at the second round on Silent Night. We see a great beginning by Taurus, the Swiss player, currently in the lead by just a hair as we dive into the ice section there for a short period of time. Left-hand drift, and that is Taurus with the mistake. He was leading the race, and now this is how quick your run can die. A slight miscalculation in your exit, and that's how quickly it can go. Now we have the fight instead between Revolution and Hugo 220, who are fighting for those 10 points. Dionysos lurking in the shadows, possibly waiting for a mistake right there. We have another left drift, and this was very nicely executed by Dionysos, who was also coming closer to Revolution, but drops the gear relatively early now. And I think this is going to be the goodbye, as Dionysos doesn't even make the jump into the ditch in the end. And that is going to be Revolution's next 10 points for Germany, finishing another time under 102, and Hugo with +6 once again in front of Taurus and Dionysos.
Yeah, so the gap is extending again between the players, as we have now 34 points between first and fourth position.
Oui.
So great performance here by Revolution, actually, who's up to 97 points, but making that mistake here at the start. I have not captured that, but he had a complete brokeback moment there by the looks of it. So Revolution down to last. Let's check here the battle for that first position, as Dionysos has a better angle here for that section by the looks of it, but Hugo is actually having more speed here. So Dionysos versus Hugo, and then we have also Tourist behind that. Let's follow Tourist, who gives us a very good overview here. Dionysos again with the more direct approach here, so he has not a lot of speed to work with here in this section, and Hugo comes a little bit closer though. But still 0.08 between both of the players here. Dionysos had really good endings there, but had an unfortunate gear drop in this last round, but is in the lead now. He wants to get himself the second 10-pointer here on this track. Looking good for him as Hugo goes for the attack. Dionysos with a very, very smooth line here, and it's looking very good. This could be another sub 101 time. Not quite yet. It's a 102.11 to win it. Hugo in second, Tourist in third, and then we had Revolution after that mistake, who goes up to exactly 100 points.
Very nicely done indeed. So we have a exact 10-point difference between Revolution and Taurus. So yeah, ideally this is exactly one round. And then the other two players are still within range, but the next maps are going to be very important. At this point, you really cannot afford to lose any more points anymore, because every point matters. And now that we're coming to the final third of the match, it is really do or die for all the players, even for Revolution and Taurus, because even they can possibly throw it away here. So yeah, Hugo 82 points, Dionysos with 73 points. Despite being the most inconsistent player at the moment, he can still possibly make something happen on the next map built by Lenny, which is the RPG map, where possibly anyone could make some damage here. A very difficult map, a lot of transitions, where it's really important to cut the airtime and to make sure that you maintain as much ground contact as possible, minimize the drifts, maximize the grip in every type of corner, and just kind of find the flow of the track as well. In this right-hander, there's the we can take a look with free cam real quick. There's a chance that you can hit the slow motion block, and then you're dead. Let me just find it here real quick for you with cam 7. Put up there. So you can kind of see how close the skid marks were by the players. and you really want to make sure that you don't touch a single pixel of the slow motion block, because the slow motion block obviously slows down everything, but the in-game timer still runs the same, so you're essentially losing a lot of time until the slow motion resets at the next checkpoint. So definitely one of the biggest mistakes you can make, and a great time driven by a Taurus in the warm-up who set a second local record. Wow. So yeah, very, very impressive. Let's go into the first round. We see Revolution with a very good beginning here. The German player leading over Hugo. Or Revolution with a terrible setup going right into the checkpoint. And he is definitely out for the fight for the next 10 points, which is going to be fought out by the remaining 3 players, Hugo, Dionysos and Taurus. The dirt section very, very tight. This was beautifully driven by Dionysos, who is pushing himself up to first place in an instant by a very nice part. But on the other hand, he drops it again. I think he was in the wrong gear and therefore did not get the best acceleration. Also, Hugo with a bit of a wonky landing will allow Taurus to now inherit that first place. So we have a lot of position changes right here between the 3 players, who are in fact all 3 French-speaking, if I recall correctly. And now Dionysos with an amazing ending, left no space at all between car and obstacles, and Dionysos will win 10 points, which he really, really needs.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Dionysos has local 1, Taurus has local 2, Hugo and Revolution in local 3 and 4. So we have the top 4 here in this grand final, but Dionysos is coming closer here, and only 20 points between first and fourth position. And this is exactly what Dionysos is in need of. Let's follow him again here, not to curse him, but still, he has to push it here. He has to get himself the 2 10-pointers that are still to be distributed on this track, and it's looking good here. All players have survived the start. Dionysos with a low jump, so you can see Revolution jump very far up, and both Taurus and Hugo have overtaken Revolution here, but it's very close here between all the players. But Dionysos with the mistake, as well as Hugo here. Dionysos goes for the safe way, actually.
Hugo!
Hugo! So Hugo's playing some, I don't know, some dancing or something like that, but his car was doing some weird tricks with them. But he can eventually finish, but now the battle is going on between Taurus and Revolution, but also a very, very huge gap between both of them. It is 0.4 of a second, and this should be in the backpack of Revolution here, unless he won't make a mistake in the ending. No, that's not the case, but Taurus! No, Taurus with a mistake, and Dionysos will overtake him, and he will be definitely happy about that, because he's also in need of those 6 points, and comes closer towards Hugo and Taurus with that. But look at Revolution, he's up to 113 points, only 1 victory away from finalist mode.
What a mistake by Taurus, and he basically gifted 2 points to Dionysos, and with the help of those 2 points, Dionysos now tied third with Hugo, and yeah, the gap is still interestingly small. Hugo dead at the start! He had the wrong setup and cut the ramp on the right, which effectively means he didn't jump high enough to make it onto the platform, and that is definitely the rip for Hugo. Great opportunity for Dionysos, ladies and gentlemen, to make something happen, because he could possibly seal the deal for that 3rd place, especially now that Taurus died and Revolution is the only opponent who is within reach. So the next 3 points here for Dionysos and Revolution. And Revolution would need a victory to become finalist to reach the 120 point threshold, and maybe it could actually be happening, as Dionysos really didn't hit that part all too nicely, and Revolution can go for the risk, and he indeed does. So the German player going up to first place, and he could possibly go up into the finalist mode here, which he does indeed. Revolution actually making it happen there, and stays in front of Dionysos by 300ths of a second. And this is actually something I kinda didn't see coming. And that means Revolution will be the first finalist, as he gets 120 points in finalist mode, meaning that he needs to get 1 more first place, and then he will be the ElityCup 4 champion.
Yeah, well said there. And I thought that Revolution had less speed compared towards Dionysos there. And look what map we have again. It's the first map, and Revolution was outstandingly well on this one. And he has plenty here, so he has at least 2 finalist attempts to work with in order to get himself the victory here on the ElityCup 4. So it's 104 points for Taurus, so 16 points short of getting himself in the finalist mode. And then we have Dionysos and Hugo, both 90 plus points. also a good map for Dionysos there, the RPG map, and is now claiming that 3rd position. So we've already seen this track, and let's see if Revolution drops WR in the warm-up again, as he usually does. So again, a warm-up also in the 2nd map rotation, and then after that, we're gonna go live. But look at Hugo. Hugo also wants to push it, so everyone could take it here. Revolution could get denied 3 times, and then we could apparently have 2 or 3 finalists at some point, because the pressure is rising with every finalist attempt you are missing.
Very well said. So yeah, Revolution now has a few freebies, but obviously I think especially on this map he has a very good shot at making it home, at bringing it home and making it happen, even though he does have a couple of very, very good opponents here that he has to fight. For example, Hugo, who is fast on this map, who sadly didn't really get to see it to show that in this match, Turbo. He made too many mistakes, and that's something we not necessarily anticipated, but we've seen that in other matches already, where Hugo simply didn't get that consistency down. Let's take a look at the first round. The camera is on the German player Revolution, who is opting for an extremely tight and aggressive line towards all the walls here at the start, and instantly pushes himself up to 1st place, even though he is still being chased down by all the players. 20 seconds into the map, let's take a look at the overall camera. All the 4 players within 1/10 of a second roughly. Really, really great fight, and everything is here, or everyone is here to deny Revolution the victory here in the ElityCup 4. Revolution on his way to possibly win 150 euro, but right now it is Hugo trying to deny that. Hugo once again with his signature wide line. This is a section he drives very well, but also Revolution did that super nicely, trying to grip on the dirt a little bit earlier, but Hugo with a lot of exit speed, and as long as he doesn't get that ending too badly, it is going to be the round 4. Hugo 220 coming up to the last jump, and Revolution gets denied.
Whoa, a point 27 by Hugo. What a crazy round that was. That was such a crazy and fast-paced round. And that means that Revolution has not used his first finalist attempt. And look, Hugo is actually coming closer here towards Turris. It's only 8 points between the players, and they're of course lurking. They're lurking in the shadow here, as Revolution has still at least 2 more finalist attempts here to work with. And this could be the one here. This could be the one, his 2nd finalist attempt, as Turris makes that first major mistake in this round and finds himself more than 0.5 of a second behind. Let's take a look here onto the battle for the top. It is again Revolution versus Hugo, as in the prior round. Revolution has the upper hand though, but look at this speed from Hugo. This part will decide a lot how much speed you can transfer there, and both did it similarly good. Revolution still in the lead, but Hugo is pushing here. Hugo is pushing into that last couple of corners we only have a little bit of track left. It is Revolution versus Hugo here in this ending section. Hugo again with the upper end. Let's follow Revolution. He can fully risk it. Revolution goes up into the lead. It is 0.03 of a second between both of the players. Revolution is pushing it. Who's taking? Revolution is winning it. Oh my god, what an ending. What an ending, man. A 0.22 by Revolution. What was that round?
Unbelievable round right there, and Hugo almost had him by the balls there in the ending. He was really trying to push it as closely as possible, but Revolution wins the ElityCup 4. The trophy goes to him, 150 euro, which he definitely deserved, and Revolution finishing it off with style, winning with a fantastic round as well. So great efforts, and definitely a deserved 1st place right there for him. The 2nd, 3rd and 4th place are obviously still going to be fought out, and Taurus is sitting there with 110 points, which means if he happens to win this round, he is also going to become a finalist. So right now, not looking too good for him though, as he finds himself 0.3 behind of the leading player, Hugo 220, who is making a massive comeback. Great efforts from him. This match has certainly been an up and down for him, with lots of mistakes, with lots of good times on top of that. And yeah, the overall package was not enough to win the cup, but the overall package is sufficient to win this round, and you can clearly see the difference in the times. Last round he was driving a 0.2, 0.3, now he drove a 0.7 because nobody was there to fight. He just didn't have to risk, and with the 1st place he got up to 2nd in total and passed Taurus, who was on that 2nd place pretty much throughout the entire match, Turbo, and now towards the end he's losing it. That must be a lot of pressure on Taurus' shoulders as well, right?
Yes, indeed, but both are probably getting finalists at the same time. So there's Dionysos to deny them, but indeed, this will put pressure onto the shoulders of Taurus because Hugo is a very fast player, but you've named it beforehand. It is Hugo making a lot of mistakes, especially on the map from Firestorm, where he could have gone into the lead and he just threw away 20 points. So he could have also been the winner here in this grand final.
Absolutely true, yeah.
Yeah, and now we're gonna play Taladega, which is a map that will be decided here on this part, whether you have to really get yourself low airtime and also acceleration just when you get that. So you can see that Turris didn't get the acceleration before that and was still in that backwards gear, and thus you can see the Dionysos gained 0.7 with that. So this is the decider of the map. Then it's just about surviving, and this is very crucial to do correctly. So we have no finals yet, but Hugo and Turris can still deny some points towards Dionysos, who is at 107 points. And it is safe to say that if both players finish, that they will get into the finals mode. Okay, but the round will start here in a minute. Let's actually see. No one is finishing here actually, but yeah, Hugo is finishing, not with a good time though. But let's go here and see what the players can do. I will put my camera on Hugo and see if he can keep up this pace here in this round on Taladega by Nexotica. Let's go here. Let's see what Hugo can do. And to the first drop we go. Hugo not with a good landing there though. Thought that he will not clear that jump very good, but still he's in the mix. So Hugo, it's pretty even here in the start, of course. But Turris has already accumulated a lead of 0.16 of a second, so looking good. But now this part is very decisive. Hugo is getting himself a little bit better than Turris, but you can see both not with the best gear here, and it is Dionysos actually in first, and we could maybe see a triple final situation here if Dionysos can pull out this performance yet again. He's 0.58 ahead. Both of the players have just to finish, but Dionysos has to get himself that first position in order to guarantee himself a finalist mode in one of the next two rounds. So looking good for him, and I think he's actually on a monster of a time. Let's see here. He is approaching the ending just perfectly fine, and he will drive a 55.50. What a great time by Dionysos. Turris with a 56.19 in second, and Hugo in third with a 0.31, but both will go up into finalist mode.
This is going to be so exciting because now we have Taurus and Hugo reaching finalist mode. All they had to do in the previous round was just to finish because they were this close to becoming a finalist. And now we also have Dionysos, who only needs to finish as well. So if he gets first, and with this denies the two existing finalists, he's going to be a finalist himself, and we're going to see a triple finalist situation in the third round of Taladega. So let's take a look here at this identity section. We see Dionysos again hitting the side of the reset block. And it is a pretty risky thing because you can get the acceleration penalty from it and basically sail down into the quarter pipe with no speed. But Dionysos hit it again. And this is actually looking really good to fulfill my prediction right there. Hugo dead as well. So this is the perfect opportunity. We see Taurus almost 1 second behind. And if Dionysos doesn't completely throw the ending down the toilet, it is indeed going to be the triple finalist situation. And this is going to be incredibly clutch because Dionysos was in the back of the field all the time. And this map seems to be really good. So this map came at the exact right time for Dionysos to maybe get second in the ElityCup.
And that's what we were talking about beforehand. The map order can be super decisive, and Taladega comes in very handy for Dionysos. Of course, he is now up to finalist mode, but he needs to win one more round here. Let's take a look onto Dionysos. Can he pull out this insane identity, let's just call it like that, again, and just gather himself a lead of 0.5 of a second. He's going for that approach again. Let's see here. Looking good for Dionysos, but he's jumping too far to the right, and he's actually dead. Dionysos is dead. The pressure was too high. And let's see who's gonna take the victory. It is Turris versus Hugo. Hugo with more speed. Turris with the more outside approach here, but both of them are getting a lot of speed. Turris is losing it a little bit here. 0.2 between both of them. And it's looking good here for the MTP player to get himself the second position. Turris is pushing it here. Is coming a little bit closer, but there's only a couple of turns left for Turris, so he has to full send his ending in order to overtake Hugo here. But it's looking too good here for Hugo, and he will indeed clock in that second position and 100 euro to his PayPal elitycup.de account. A 56.21. Hugo is taking the second place in the ElityCup 4.
Congratulations to Hugo. He was also lacking the speed, making a lot of mistakes. He was partially in the back of the field as well. At some point he was even on 4th in the overall scoreboard, and he actually managed to go up to second place in the end. And yeah, you also have to say that he got a bit lucky, because Dionysos did sadly not deliver when he had to the most. He did a great comeback as well, so commiserations to Dionysos, who tried very hard to make something happen, and at the end it was as clutch as it could possibly get. So now we have the final round. Both Taurus and Dionysos are finalists, and we go into the final round of the ElityCup 4 with Untamed Heart by Firestorm. The 1v1 situation. This is the 1v1 that decides between 3rd and 4th place. Dionysos in the lead right now with 1400ths of a second, dropping down into the dirt, both with very similar trajectories. Taurus trying to possibly get a bit more speed out of this, but both of them with very similar speed outcome. In fact, Dionysos has gained a couple thousandths right there. So let's take a look. Taurus with a much better line though, going into the loop with a more aggressive line and maintains a bit more speed that way, goes up to 1st place. So Taurus is now on P1, just ahead by 1 car length. Going through the right drift now, Dionysos temporarily taking over the lead. This left-hander on the dirt is going to be super important. Taurus is going a bit higher, trying to maintain a bit more speed, and it looks like Taurus has a bit more speed up on his speedometer right there, and the ending is going to decide it. The ending that Hugo really didn't get that too nicely, and it's going to be super close. Who's going to get it? It's Dionysos who gets it by 3,000ths of a second. Taurus has jumped too far to the right and traveled too much distance in the air, and therefore made open room for Dionysos to basically snipe him in front of the finish, and snipe him for like 25 euro right there. So that was an incredible round to end it off, to bring the ElityCup 4 to an end.
Wow, man, we had so many crazy close rounds when people were finalists, but I think this is just what this final describes the best, because everyone has fallen a little bit behind, except of actually Revolution, who played a very, very consistent match. But it could be between Dionysos, Hugo, and also Taurus here. But yeah, very close final here. Actually, one of the coolest finals I've seen in a long time, actually. So very close final. And also commiserations to the 4th position here. It's of course getting beaten by 3,000ths of a second is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. You're not gonna sleep well with that.
Nah, absolutely not. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone deserved to be second in this place. The 1st place definitely deserved went to Revolution there. But looking at the overall match at the end of the day, Hugo and Dionysos had a bit of a weaker performance in my opinion, but they caught up greatly, and while Taurus lost it a bit, that is when the other players started to benefit from it. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think it was an equal performance for all the players, and the points resemble that. So yeah, congrats to all the players for making it this far, and this was a great cast. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Turbo.
Yeah, thank you as well. I was covering the whole ElityCup, so really cool to see like the role of a player to go from the 1st round to the actual final. Was a very good competition. Thank you for inviting me as well. Really was really fun to cast with you again. And also thank you to the organizers for organizing this event with a prize pool of 320 euro. It's definitely a bigger event, and also very good maps as we have praised them as well. So thank you guys for watching this one, and yeah, that's what I can say about it.